most part, I'm relatively lucky when it comes to the comorbid conditions that come with my autism spectrum disorder. Many people on the spectrum have to deal with not being able to speak, with self-harm, or with severe behavioral issues. I haven't experienced those things, although I did have a suicide attempt when I was a child, and I've gone through many periods of severe depression wherein I was suicidal. On a daily basis, I deal with anxiety so severe that I don't like being around anyone because of how anxious and uncomfortable it makes me. It's a mix of being anxious about how I come across, trying to figure out what the other person is thinking, feeling, what they really mean with the things that they say, and when you add to that the overwhelming nature of various sensory input, as well as difficulty staying focused with all those things happening in my mind at once, it's easy to see why I would prefer being alone. It isn't that I don't want to be around people, but that doing so is so anxiety-inducing that it is difficult and draining. Going out and being around people I don't know only makes this much, much worse. A panic attack becomes much more likely if I'm out around people, especially if it's very loud and if I get sensory overload. My brain becomes far too aware of everything happening around me, with most noise and movement drawing my attention. Being around people I know is different. If I have a relationship with someone, whether they're family or friends, I have a pretty good idea of what they think about me and how they see me, and it's not likely that how they see me is extremely negative. Now, people I've never met, on the other hand, don't know me, and it's easy for me to make a bad first impression. What with being incredibly anxious and antsy, not making much eye contact, not being super social, and my appearance being a bit unkempt. Over the years, people have often assumed I was on drugs, when the truth is I was in extremely poor health. Anxiety has always been an issue for me, and I've struggled with gaining weight all my life. All of my normal anxiety skyrockets when I'm in an unfamiliar situation or place, which is why I don't really leave the house very often. The rest of the time I spend inside, by myself for the most part. That's really how I prefer it, honestly, as it limits the amount of extra anxiety and stress I deal with. In the past few years, I've started to notice that I also compulsively do things, little actions. I might tap on my leg once or twice, and then I have to tap on the other leg so that my action is symmetrical. Then I feel compelled to do that action a certain number of times, and if I don't do it enough times, I have to do it again until I get the right number. If I do the action too many times, then I have to keep doing it until I have a multiple of the number that I want. If I don't do these things, I feel like something bad is going to happen. It's definitely becoming more common over time too, just like my anxiety did. But ultimately, it's only a mild inconvenience at this point, even if it does make me feel a bit self-conscious. I do my best to hide it around people, and because I usually fidget a lot, people don't really seem to notice. I struggle with these issues, but at the same time, I always try to keep in mind that things can be much worse. In a lot of ways, I'm a very lucky person. I have a great family who loves and supports me. I have food to eat and a roof over my head. I'm able to communicate and articulate my thoughts, although typing is definitely easier than doing so in person. And I get to make these videos where I share my opinions and views and talk about subjects that are important to me. I have the capability to connect with people in a way which doesn't make me so uncomfortable, and that means a lot to me. If I hadn't experienced the life I had, I wouldn't be in a position to do so. I wouldn't be me. So I try to accept that things are the way they are and do the best I can with what life has given me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thanks for coming by. Have a good day. Hey everybody, Ultimate Oddball here. If you want to stay up to date with my videos, click subscribe. I release a new video on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do gaming commentary and review. I talk about my experiences on the autism spectrum, and I share my opinions and thoughts on a variety of matters. My hope is that, through my videos, I can help to dispel some of the misinformation, confusion, and negativity people have regarding autism. Thank you for helping me do that by watching these videos.